the couch. Okay, it's about 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and kind of get started. Again, like I mentioned, if you're just now clicking in, this is going to be recorded so we can post it on our website on the Woodland Stewards page, and we can also send it directly to individuals because I know sometimes it's easier to just kind of have it in your email than it is to try and go somewhere and find it. But we'll just kind of go over the Woodland Stewards program, and then we will get into the more interesting stuff regarding Avenza, which Mark will explain very well, a lot better than I ever could. He's an expert, so.
We'll see.
And then if you guys have questions, feel free to, you should be able to unmute yourself, but if you want to throw them in the chat or if you can raise your hand, but we'll also save time at the end so we can answer any questions. So I'm sure most of you know Maine Woodland Owners was organized in 1975 as a membership organization. We've got, I think it's over 3,400 members now, with roughly 8,000 acres of land across the state. And we're always adding more. I'm sure you guys always know that. Um, in 42 different communities with over 3,500 acres of conservation easements. Um, so we have the Woodland Stewards program, which I'm sure you guys all know is supposed to be like the eyes and ears of the organization on the ground for our land trust properties. Because there's only a handful of us here in the office and we can only do so much with our limited time, unfortunately. And so our volunteer woodland stewards kind of adopt a property and monitor it on a regular basis, acting as the eyes and ears of our land trust, and submit a report once every year, which includes things that you've seen, including the amount and type of human traffic, any potential issues that might need a staff intervention. Like if you guys see a deer stand, I think we've had a couple times deer stands have been left on the property. But it's not your job to make sure that that deer stand gets out of there, just as an example. Just let us know and we'll work with the appropriate parties to make sure that it gets removed. It's important to be prepared for when you're out in the woodlands, like I'm sure many of you know, because most of you have been doing this a lot longer than I have even been alive. But safety first, so wear appropriate clothing and shoes, check if you need bug spray. I was just out at Wiesendanger, I think twice last week, and both times I pulled multiple ticks off of me, even though I could have swore, I could have swore I put on enough bug spray to probably prevent any bug in the next like 5 mile radius from finding me, but nevertheless, they find you. Um, Always, watch for the weather just in case. You never know what happens. High water levels in case you have to go over any stream crossings and things like that. And of course, in the hunting season, make sure we're wearing orange, bright visible colors, because accidents happen, unfortunately. The most important part about being a woodland steward is the map. So all of our properties should have an updated geo-referenced map on our website. And those are really great because you can pop them into Avenza. You can use other apps, but again, I think Avenza is probably one of the better ones that you can use in order to navigate through the property. I also think it's really nice because if you have it open while you're there and you notice like an issue like a deer stand or trash or like somebody had set up camp at one point on a property, I think. And you can drop a pin exactly where that's at. So that's really helpful if we need to go back and monitor different things on the property. An important thing that we're looking for is boundaries. So making sure that we walk the boundary lines to find and make sure that our marks are still there as they should be. Our marks, our blazes are red. And photos of anything that is out of the ordinary. And I know I mentioned like you can drop a pin in Avenza, but that might be a little more technically advanced. And if you would prefer, photos are also great because fun fact, photos have GPS points with them now in the info tab. So if you take a photo in the park, it should have GPS points attached to it under information, and you would be able to find that. Encroachment is a big thing. Sometimes neighbors dump things, people dump things wherever they want because apparently the earth is everyone's trash bag. I don't think that's a great thing, but you never know what happens. There's clearing and view cutting that people might do sometimes, construction, storage, trash dumping. I know when I was out at Wiesendanger this past couple weeks, I picked up probably a couple bags worth of trash, mostly from the road that goes right by the property. People are just chucking stuff out their window. So that's something to look out for as well. Other things, any hazards that you think might be an issue. So, for instance, Tim Thompson is very active with Wiesendanger. Him, Mark, and I went out and we kind of walked around and looked for different hazards that he had noticed that we want to try and tackle during some of our work days. So we had some bike ramps that were built. Those are obviously hazards to anybody who's hiking. A bridge that needs to be replaced over a small stream crossing. That's could be another potential hazard. Any dead or diseased trees that you think might be an issue. Wind throw that we need to address, invasive species, or unauthorized trail use. Um, so I'm sure you're all familiar with our use policy. So the allowed uses on all of our properties are hiking, nature walks, winter recreation, hunting, except on Wiesendanger, canoeing, kayaking, and snowmobiles, unless it's obviously prohibited, in which case we'll have that on our kiosk. The unauthorized uses are going to be campfires, overnight camping, tree stands, game cameras, and ATVs, unless it's specifically on an authorized trail, or if somebody has talked to us specifically, like, oh, we need to cross this property in order to get onto the trail. Like that's obviously we'll work that part out. The most important part is to enjoy being outside because who wants to be stuck inside? Isn't the saying a, a bad day in the field is better than a good day in the office? So, I mean, I much rather would be outside in the rain walking in the woods than stuck in an office. The annual report. So, like I mentioned, once a year, we would like it if we could get a report back. I know we have this formal form that we would like you guys to fill out that just kind of helps you remember what we're looking for. So, condition of the property lines, condition of the forest, condition of our kiosk and sign. We do have some newer signs that are very similar to our older ones. So, they do still have our newer logo on them and then the blue circle. I believe on the older one says Land Trust, and on our newer ones, it has the specific name of the woodlot. So if you notice when you're out on a property that the sign just says Land Trust instead of the actual property, that's just something to note so we can get that sign replaced. The presence of trash, any recommendations that you think might be good for the property, like, oh, there's a lot of wind throw or things like that. And we prefer if at least once a year we can get a report back like, hey, property's in good shape, or hey, no, the property's not in a good shape. We need to address these issues over here. That form should be on the Woodland Stewards webpage, but if it's not, I can make sure I send out a copy to you guys too. And worst case scenario, you can always just write up an email, write up a sticky note or something. It's not a super complicated process, as I'm sure we're all aware. Volunteers add value. I actually checked this stat this morning because I wanted to double check I was telling you guys the right numbers. In 2023, the value of a volunteer hour was $31.80, and that's actually gone up. In 2024, it was $34.79. So in 3 hours, that's over $100 of value to Maine Woodland Owners. I think the actual amount's like $113 in some sense. So that's a lot of work. That's a lot of value, and we very much appreciate it. So thank you a lot for all of your volunteering work and hours and your dedication to Maine Woodland Owners and appropriate responsible land stewardship. If you know of any other individuals that may or may not be interested in volunteering or being out in the woods and things like that, there are some other properties that do need woodland stewards. We prefer to have one steward per property, just so we can make sure we have an even amount of people and making sure that all of our properties are getting seen. So this is the most updated list of properties that still need stewards. I know we are planning on adding a couple of more properties here soon, so that'll be updated as well. And I think that was my last slide. And we can move on to Avenza with Mark unless anybody else has any questions, comments, or concerns about this first part. So if not, I will stop sharing and we can go to Avenza. I think, Mark, you should still be able to share, right? Yep.
I think so, yep. Unless you change the setting.
No, I don't think so. I tried not to, but you never know.
Welcome, everybody. This is Avenza. according to Mark Doty, who has used it. Could everybody start their videos so I could ask a couple of questions and get responses? Mitch, Steve, and Christopher. Thanks, Mitch.
And I don't have it, Mark.
Okay, so you could just answer yes or no. So does everybody have Avenza on their phone? Raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay, Dennis does not. Okay. Art, I didn't look for you. You'd have it. Okay. Has everybody downloaded the map from the Maine Woodland site?
Yes.
Okay. Not Felix? So Felix, have you downloaded the map from the Maine Woodland site? Is that a yes or a no?
I think that's a thumbs down.
That's a no. Okay. Do you, okay. Has everybody that has the map put a placeholder on it, also known as a waypoint?
Yes.
Okay. And have you enabled a track and watched yourself walk through the woods on the map?
Yes.
Okay, so we got varying levels, but that's cool. So I'll go through those things and then I'll open it up to questions. So let me see if I can do this here.
My granddaughter will be back tomorrow. I'll have her show me how to do everything.
Yeah, isn't that the way?
If it makes anybody feel any better, it took me a hot minute to understand how Avenza works and to actually make sure I was using it correctly. Mark had to show me, so.
So can you see my phone screen?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we start. And you can see it in two places now. If everybody can everybody see me as well as my phone screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I go to Avenza and click on that, and it brings up the map. And this is a map which is the property across the street from my house. But the handy part of this map is that it actually has my house on it too. So that's why you can see the blue dot. So can everybody see the map and the blue dot?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So the blue dot is where I am. Well, it's actually where the phone is, but it also means it's where I am because I'm holding the phone. So we've got the blue icon, which shows your location and tracks you as you walk around the piece. So you also see that crosshair, the center of the screen. I can get
Yes.
rid of that by going to the upper right-hand corner of the map and hitting that button, the arrowhead. And what that does is it centers the map on the blue dot. Whereas if I move the map on the screen, that bullseye comes up and it shows me the center of the map. So this is an important thing to know. It will frustrate you no end if you forget that by touching that button, the arrowhead, it recenters the map on you. Whereas you move the screen and it brings the crosshairs up again. And this is important because if you want to put a placeholder, a waypoint down, and you want to put it on yourself, you need to center the map on you. So the first thing is this placeholder button in the lower right-hand side of the map screen. If you hit that, it puts a placeholder where you are, and then it asks you to name it. So I'm going to name it Mark's house. And then hit save. And you can see it drops down to Mark's house and the Latin long and what layer it's in. And then some buttons drop down to the bottom of the screen. And it has put a place mark where I was, or where the blue button was when I put the placeholder in. So that's one way to put a placeholder on screen. The other way is to move the map and then hit that button on the lower side again and put the placeholder there. And label it. So that's the entrance to my driveway. So that's two ways to put a placeholder in there. And then you just swipe the placeholder or the dialog box down to get rid of that. So that's the placeholder. And that's an important thing when you're walking around the woods and you say, oh, here's a pile of trash. And I want to be able to tell Olivia that the pile of trash is there. Or some other feature that you want to say, like there's an encroaching trail right here. So the other thing that you can do is put the track mode on, and it's the orange line here. This is the trail that Olivia and I took on Saturday over in Farmington. And we walked out first and then south and then back up to the north. And I dropped placeholders at features that I wanted to identify. Most of them were bike jumps on trails on our land. And there were a couple of water bars to be put in and a bridge to probably be replaced. So that's what the track looks like. And I'll go back and show you how to put a track on. So that's relatively easy. Let's see if I remember how to do it. Yep. Okay. So down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, off of the map, is the pencil and the ruler. If you hit that once, the second item down is record GPS tracks. And you click that and you get the ready to track feature up there. The location's on the left, the tracking's in the middle, and the navigation's on the right. So tracking, it's really easy. I just hit the start track button at the bottom and it starts tracking. And then I swipe that out of the way and it will follow you wherever you go. You can have more than one track, but you need to stop one track and then start another track. So if you've got different uses that you're putting it to, or you want to record different tracks, you can do that. So that's the second feature that is probably going to be very useful to you. And the third thing to remember about this map, see how you can minimize the map down or maximize it. So the blue dot will show up anywhere in this gray area around your map. So if you activate it as you're getting close to your piece or where you're going, you will see it come onto the gray area and then follow you right up the road to when it'll show up on your map. Any questions about any of those? Hearing none, I'll go to one of the more I consider difficult parts of this. So if you want to bring the map from the Maine Woodlands site into your phone and use it with Avenza, you need to navigate to the Maine Woodlands site and then onto the land trust page and then to the particular piece that you're interested in downloading the map for, and then scroll down through till you find the map. And then on the iPhone anyway, it's touching the map. And then this comes up. This is, I believe, Google Docs. And there is a download key up in the top. There we go. Right up in the middle of the top. It's the box with the arrow pointing down into it. If you touch that, it will download it to your phone. And for me, it puts it in the files, which are up in the upper right-hand corner for me. And I went to files and to downloads, and it shows up. So it's the top one right there, the Clifford Woods in Farmington. So I've downloaded the file now, but now I need to get it into Avenza. So I go back to Avenza, and there's a plus sign right in the top of the screen. Hit the plus sign and select the import maps. And then down near the bottom from storage locations. And then it's the downloads and down to Clifford Woods in Farmington. So I'm going to choose Clifford Woods Clean, which I downloaded a little bit earlier today. Question? Okay. So I selected download Clifford Woods, and now I'll hit open. And Avenza does its thing. Now it's active, and I can open that. And that is the same map that we had before, except this one's not all tracked up and marked with placeholders or place markers. But you can use that map now at will. Once again, to put a waypoint or a place marker on there, you center it, and that's the entrance to Clifford Wood. And hit save, and you got it. And that is what you really need to start work on Maine Woodlands. There's a lot more features than that, but I'll show you anything I know how to do. So what do folks have for questions? Mitch?
When you're naming the waypoints,
Yes,
I see that the name does not appear on the map like in one of my other apps. Does the Avenza have a separate listing of all the waypoints and their respective names?
I believe so. I'll show you what happens. So with this newest version of Avenza, you can't just tap the placeholder and get the name to come up right at the placeholder. So if you tap the placeholder, the drop-down box jumps up and it tells you what the name is. And then you can bring it up with your finger and see all the stuff, all the information about it.
Okay. Yeah.
You can attach
Okay.
photos to your points too, correct?
I haven't done that, but I believe that's you can do that. Oh, there's the photos ad just about halfway down. So it looks like this, you need to take the photo first and then go back in and add the photo. Or okay. So it says add photo, and click that and you get the camera or the photo library or from storage locations. So it looks like I've restricted access to the camera. So here's where I was yesterday, and we'll just say it's there. So it looks like it's attached, that photo. So I'm going to go back. Yep, it's put the photo in with that placeholder. So I was up on top of Sugarloaf yesterday, and this is a cell tower that came down. And that's what the inside of one of those, well, white cell tower sections looks like. It's pretty wild and woolly on top of Sugarloaf in the winter. So that's how you attach a photo, apparently.
Sharing the map. I don't know if we want to go over that. That might be helpful. Like if somebody has dropped a lot of points on their map and instead of trying to describe where it's at, sharing it might be easier.
My understanding, and I haven't looked at the new app,
Mhm.
is that you needed the pro version to share your map.
Oh, gotcha.
So my suggestion in the past has been to just take a screenshot
Hmm.
and forward that to Olivia. But what I do is take a screenshot and then send it to the computer and print it out full size, and then I just write on the map and then I scan it. Send it.
Perfect.
Or you
So-
can edit the PDF on screen to do the same thing. But it's brute force and awkwardness unless you want to pay for the professional version. Other questions?
Any other questions, comments, concerns, pressing ideas?
So you say there's a new version of Avenza. Is it new since a year ago when I downloaded mine for the first time at the last training session?
I believe
So
so.
I should download or upgrade or do something with and get the newer version?
It did it automatically for me. I was
Oh,
surprised Saturday to see this new version out, and it frustrated me a little bit, but I,
okay.
I figured it out on the fly.
I know.
So
Yeah, I got the new version as well, and unfortunately, I wiped out everything I had, so I got to recreate my files.
yeah,
Oh,
that's rotten.
Apparently, I have the new version, and somehow pushing buttons, I got something called Brownville Woods, which sound, and so I somehow have found it. And through my sheer genius, I don't have the faintest idea how I came up with this.
So you're telling us you can't recreate it?
I would never be able to recreate it, but again, I'll get my granddaughter when she gets back tomorrow, and
Yep.
then I'll take a walk through and check it out because my biggest problem was I didn't know where the woods, I knew where it started. I didn't know where it ends. With this, if I can get the marks, I may be able to figure out and actually walk the boundaries.
Yes.
Two of the boundaries is a river and a railroad track, so those will be easy to find.
Yeah.
And it's fortunate between this lot and my wood lot is two other lots, so it's fairly close to home.
That's handy. So if your granddaughter can't come through, give me a call and we can figure it out.
Will do, but you know, I'm not saying I'm bad on electronics, but I lost a lot of close friends when that asteroid hit.
You survived a long time.
If you guys are filling out the steward reports, feel free. I mean, if you want to send a paper copy to our office, that's great. If you would prefer to email it, feel free to send it to me because I know sometimes things get lost in Tom Doak's inbox. He gets a lot of emails. So my email is just going to be my first name at mainewoodlandowners.com. So it's going to be Olivia at mainewoodlandowners.com, and that's on our website too. It should be multiple spots, but if it's not, feel free to let me know. And I think I've tried to make sure everybody has my email and contact information too. But I just wanted to double check that. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Want to make sure we address everything we can. Again, this is being recorded, so we'll have it on our Woodland Stewards page for later reference, and we can also send it directly to you if you would prefer that as well.
And my name is Mark Doty, and my phone is 207 612 1174.
Let's open a chat.
And give me a shout anytime with a question.
Woodland Owners. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat as well, and then direct office phone is gonna be 267-620-7354. Perfect. Did that chat show up for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And then my cell is, I always have that on me, so if for some reason I'm not in the office or you can't get a hold of me, it's gonna be 402-705-3330. It's a funky area code, so.
Olivia, I do have one feedback for you.
Yes, of course.
Last year, I did a property in Ellsworth, and you know, the land is used. There's a place, a big clearing where it's used for storage of boats
Yeah.
during the winter and used for a tent for local homeowners association in the summer.
Mhm.
And, you know, they're not doing anything bad to the property, but I reported it, and it would just be nice to know some feedback saying, well, that's okay, we approve it, or, you know, some feedback of that nature.
Okay, perfect. Tom is out sick today, so I'll make sure I get with him and we go over that to make sure we have a clear answer. Because I know sometimes we have these verbal agreements with people that not everybody knows about. So just make sure we're all on the same page. So I'll make sure. You said that was in Ellsworth, right?
Yeah,
Is that a branch lake, Tom?
that area, yes,
Yeah, and there's a kiosk there as well.
there is.
Yeah, so that both of those are approved activities.
Perfect.
Okay. So I can stop.
You're right. It would be nice for the steward to know that.
Yeah.
I'll double check with Tom if there's any other weird, funky agreements that we have that I haven't been made aware of since Carla's left, and make sure that the appropriate individuals are made aware of them. But if nobody has any other questions, comments, concerns, or burning things they need to get out and off their chest, we can wrap this up. Again, it's been recorded, so we'll make sure everybody gets this again and again and again and again, so you can watch it as many times as you need to. But we will give you back the rest of your afternoon. Thank you guys for coming in and training.
Thanks,
One
folks.
more question.
Oh, yes.
What's the deadline to do this year's inspection? Is it September or
November-ish.
is November-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Preferably. Please and thank you. I know Bill Taylor is logging on and is in a lot of our Chandler properties, so he has called me a couple times to do his report. And then I just kind of fill out a paper. So if it works, it works. I'm not going to break a system that works.
And if you get the report in before November 1st, you won't have to wear body armor and a helmet.
True too. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
And thanks for being
Okay.
stewards.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Take care.
Thank you.